What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video and another video on the Corsa today. Now basically in this video I'm going to be attempting to replace the gear linkage, so the gearbox linkage that basically links the gear shifter to the gearbox, and the part that I'm going to be replacing is this thing right here, and it has like various different ball joints and bushings on. So I'm going to be replacing this, and I'm also going to be replacing the selector rod. Now on Corsas it's a very common problem for the standard selector rod to actually fail because it's plastic, and I'm sure where it sits in on the little balls on the gear linkage, it doesn't really sit in right, and it you know, kind of wears over time. So this is like kind of an upgraded and uprated selector rod. Now I could have just went ahead and obviously just changed this, but for the sake of, you know, an extra like £8, I'm pretty sure this was about £10. The whole gear linkage was about £17–18. Obviously the gear linkage that's on there now, it's going to be worn, the bushes are going to be worn and whatever else, so it's just as well to just change the whole lot. But yeah, first thing first is going to be to get the old one off. Now I'll show you what we're working with first. So usually access wouldn't be the greatest, and I'm pretty sure you don't have to remove anything to be able to do this. Like, I'm sure you know, you haven't got to pretty much remove half of the car, but seeing as I'm doing a full service there and I've actually removed all the intake pipes, I may as well you know, do this job while I have better access. I don't really know what it's like from underneath, but I'm not sure if you can see down there, but there is, just down here, that's the selector rod, and the gear linkage starts here, and there's actually a split pin in there, which is going to be the first thing I need to get out, and then that should separate this from the gearbox then. Now I just want to point out, this is not going to be a how-to, this is going to be the first time that I've done it myself, so I'm just going to show you me basically going through the process of changing the entire linkage. Now like I said, access is not great, so it's not really going to be the easiest to film what I'm doing, but I'm going to do my best and try and explain as best as possible as I go along. Okay then, so I'll just show you before I take it all the way out. So this is the split pin that goes obviously through to the other side of this linkage joint, and what I've done is I pushed the little spring that was on the one side and then levered the top up with the screwdriver, and this should just come out now, it says, and he's dropped it, but it's out. Okay then, so with this part of the linkage just loose now, I'm going to go ahead and try and remove this selector rod. Okay then, so it's actually just going to be quite a bit easier to just show you on the new gear linkage. So this is the part that we've removed, which is now loose because obviously we're taking the split pin out of there. There's then a retaining cap on this joint here, and I'm not too sure what's underneath it yet, but I'm going to get this cap off and then see what we're working with. And that is the old gear linkage off. So let me just explain basically what I've done. So first of all, I took the split pin out of that side, that's the side that goes into the gearbox, and then I removed this nut on there, and that's the side that goes onto the gear shifter, onto the gear shifting connecting rod, and then, and this is actually the hardest bit, I got this, I'll show you from the new one, I don't know where the old one's gone, but this is like a little cap and goes over there, it's just like a little retaining cap, and this obviously like sits on like a spline, like a rod, and then that allows it to rotate and move then. But just to get that thing off, that was actually the hardest thing So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just fix the new one. I'll probably give the whole area a little bit of a clean up first, and then I'll go ahead and fit the new one. Oh, also as well, I just want to do a quick comparison. Like, so you can see that, you know, these have like these bush and ball joint things here. Just look how like sloppy that is. I'm pretty sure that's why my gear stick is a little bit sloppy. But yeah, got so much play in that, and a lot of play in that one as well. And I'll check out the new one. That's so stiff. So hopefully this makes a whole world of difference. Okay then, so the next thing to do is to actually attach the new gear selector rod. So obviously it's got to go from one ball joint to the other, and this is actually adjustable. So you obviously just twist the ends, then you tighten the nuts to lock it down. And now I could just go ahead and fit the gear linkage and then fit the selector rod after, but I think that's going to be more difficult. So I'm actually going to fit it to how I expect it to fit, how I expect this to sit, how I expect this to go on. Because I think there's like some little clips on the inside of here that you have to open up to actually get these over the ball joints. So yeah, I'm going to attempt to try and fit this first, and then fit the whole linkage together. Okay then, so I'll just explain what I've done then. So the new selector rod, I basically just matched that up to the same length as the old one, and then fitted it by removing these little securing clips and then clamping it on with some pliers, and then putting the securing clip in. That just goes through and kind of folds over, and that just keeps it from popping off essentially. Obviously done the other side and we're all fitted on, so now it's just going to be a case of putting the new gear linkage on the car. Okay then, so gear linkage is actually fitted now. Split pins in there. The nut is buttoned up there to the and that secures the rod on that goes to the gear shifter. Just going to be a case of putting this black cap on, securing cap. Right, that's in there then. Yeah, well, it's in the hole. Okay then, so gear linkage is done now, and it's actually took a lot longer than I anticipated. So basically, obviously I assembled it all. I just thought it was just going to be a case of just putting it on. And I watched a video before that said I had to like set up the gear linkage, and it kind of basically went through how to do it. So I followed those guides, but yeah, like my gear shifter was not popping back into neutral, so it had no spring to it, and like it was. I was going through the gears. It was like gear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it was like going into where 6th gear would be as well, which obviously it's only a 5-speed gearbox, so I don't know what was that, but yeah, we just played around with it. We had to ended up having to keep undoing that bolt down there, and then pressing this spring in, which is down there. Let's see if I can get a bit of light down there. So there is a spring somewhere. So I can put my finger on it, that thing there, this little plunger, and you have to push that in, and then what you saw me earlier doing with the screwdriver, drop it in that little hole, and that will keep it in its place. Then you redo that bolt up that's at the back of the gear linkage, And then that plunger should pop out once you take the screwdriver out, and it should be all okay then. But obviously it did take a little bit of trial and error. But we're all done now on that. Obviously I've still got a whole lot left to do, but gear linkage is done. Okay then, so I just want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, or if you have learnt something, please give this video a like. Leave a comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already done so, because I'll be uploading a whole load more videos on this car. And I'll see you in that next video. Peace!